Antinatalism is an utterly selfish philosophy. It is actually built to fail. So in this video, I am going to debunk antinatalism step by step, and I am going to prove to you that antinatalism is selfish and illogical. So to begin with, I am only going to talk about ethical antinatalists, antinatalists who are antinatalists for ethical reasons. I am not going to talk about environmental antinatalists or child free. So to begin with, ethical antinatalists are people who don't give birth to children for ethical reasons, because if a child comes into this world, they are going to suffer. So suffering is inevitable in this world, and no parent can assure their child's safety. So why make a child from the scratch just to come into this world and pointlessly suffer, right? So this is their philosophy. So here is the first problem of antinatalism. So you people say that suffering is bad, so we don't want to create children who will suffer, who will come into this world pointlessly and suffer, right? So you are a human and you can decide that, okay, let me not have a child, let me use a condom, right? You can decide that. But what about the animals? They are also suffering here pointlessly, and they are also suffering. If your goal is reducing suffering, then you are doing a bad job at it. Because if your goal is reducing suffering, you have to add animals also. Animals suffer the same as humans. Animals are equal to humans. When I say animals are equal to humans, I am not asking voting rights for animals. I am saying their suffering is the same. For the victims, it is the same. So here is where antinatalists become selfish. They are like, okay, let's save our own asses. That is the most disgusting, most selfish, most pathetic thing you can do. Humans are the only species on earth that are capable of solving everyone's suffering, including the animals. So we have a moral obligation to do so. If you say that, okay, let's just make all the humans extinct, let the animals stay here, let them experience starvation, natural disasters, let them pointlessly suffer here. Isn't that selfishness or what? So the only solution to suffering, if you are fighting against suffering, is to make every sentient being extinct. Every conscious living beings which can suffer, which have the capability to suffer, all of them should go extinct. So if you are an antinatalist, then you are a fool. It's as simple as that. So what is your goal? Your goal is, fighting suffering, fighting against suffering, right? So reducing suffering. So if you say that, okay, I will reduce some suffering and not the others, then you are a fool. Every bad thing in this world is bad because it causes suffering to someone. Every bad thing comes back to suffering. You cannot deny that. Otherwise, you name one thing that is bad, that doesn't have any suffering. Suffering is the only bad thing that exists in this world. And if you say that, okay, some suffering is bad and some suffering can happen, I'll let it happen, then you are an evil piece of shit. Our end goal shouldn't be human extinction. We should try and help animals. That is our moral obligation. We are the only ones who can. We have to understand the fact there is no others who animals can depend upon. So if you ask me, right, so if the whole world goes antinatalist, the whole world agrees to make only humans extinct, then us extinctionists, we will reproduce. We will continue the generations until animal extinction is caused. You have to understand that animals suffer more by quantity and by severity. Animals are more by quantity and their suffering is worse. So let's come to the second problem with antinatalism. Antinatalism clings to the concept of consent, right? We want someone to get educated and go antinatalist voluntarily. That is never going to happen. Voluntary extinction will never happen. Even see, if you make, you have made abusing black people as illegal, right? But still that happens. So even if you make reproduction illegal, some morons are going to reproduce. Your movement already failed. Your goal is unachievable logically. It's as simple as that. Also, as I said, you have to include the animals, right? They are also suffering the same as us in this world. So can you go to a monkey and like, hi, be antinatalist, see your children are suffering? Can you go to a dog and be like, hi, be an antinatalist, don't give birth to puppies? These puppies, they are going to have skin diseases, they are going to suffer from accidents. You don't know. Don't do this. The dogs might bite you. They'll be scared. So you shouldn't cling to the concept of consent. So I have already made a video about consent and this topic. So the thing is that not everybody, animals or people, have the intellectual capacity to understand that non-existence is better, the same as you. You have understood that okay, non-existence is better for children, but not everybody can have that intellectual capacity. You cannot expect that. So the third problem, so there are a bunch of antinatalists who claim as being sentio-centric antinatalists. So these antinatalists are, in fact, they are mostly extinctionist for the one part where their solution is not practical. So these sentio-centric antinatalists, they say that okay, every sentient being should go extinct. We agree that. So they say that okay, we need to sterilize these sentient beings, right? So understand one logic, right? So I agree with them. If you can sterilize all the beings, all sentient beings, up to a point where you can cause total extinction, then I am fine with it, right? It should be done. But the thing is, it's not going to be possible. So sentient beings range from ants to blue whales. You cannot pick each and every ant, each and every mosquito up and sterilize them. That's not going to be possible. It's very simple logic. So the next thing, we should go for euthanizing, euthanasia. That is the only solution. So the thing is that some things that I want to clarify is that one thing I told about extinctionists will reproduce until animal extinction. I understand the fact that reproduction is wrong and it's evil. Definitely it's unethical. But the thing is, life is not so black and white, right? So sometimes you have to cause some suffering in order to solve some greater suffering. If you don't understand this, you are basically a child. So second thing before I finish the video is that euthanasia. So to be really honest, people are very defensive when it comes to this concept, right? So let's just see the thing, the difference between sterilization and euthanasia. So if you sterilize one animal right now, right, the animal is going to suffer for the rest of its life and it's going to die a slow natural death, right? So euthanasia on the other hand ends the suffering right now. So I don't know why you are defensive. I guess that in the society we have painted this death as something that is really bad. So we are afraid of these words like euthanasia and stuff, and we get defensive. But there is really like no valid reason to be defensive. So the thing is, always life is not so black and white. Remember that sometimes we have to accept and cause some suffering in order to solve greater suffering, right? It's basically trolley problem. And I hope you leave all your emotions, you think logically what is best to fight against suffering, what is best for all sentient beings who are suffering like you.